Alright, so, yeah, this is going to be the final video for today of Mystic Quest. I might do some more later, but for now, this is it. And this is start as well the next set of three until this is completed, because this is what we have for 3 videos Sunday. Anyway, my name is Brian I got you here, and welcome back, folks, one and all, to one of my personal favorite games, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. And in the last episode, well, we pretty much got everything done. I didn't show up doing the floors again because there was no point. And I didn't realize I had already shown up to one technique. Well, we're going to be doing it again anyway. Only this time for a different reason. I mean, of course, it wouldn't make much difference anyway if you had, even if you hadn't done all the enemies. But, you know, it just makes it a little bit more quicker. But you still have to go through them. Like it or not. But anyway, so this is the final deal of the Bone Dungeon. And as you can see, there's 2 treasure chests. There's actually a number of 3 treasure chests. And the first one is completely optional, just like the other item chest is optional, but we needed it. These are both optional, but they're also ones you, well, actually one of them's not optional, it's automatically get gotten. But the other one is optional, but at the same time, if you don't get it, you can't progress any further. So that's the thing. Crazy as it is, but let's do it. Grr, you'll never beat me. I have the power of the crystal of the earth. It's time to can the earth. Oh, wait a minute, I can't do that. Copywriting. Flamerus Rex. Okay, there, you heard it. Okay. I like this music. I really do. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to do something very sneaky, cheeky. We are going to save a state. Yes, you know why? Because we're going to do something that kind of almost, but not effectively fully does this fight. And that's going to be using Cheater. And I don't think the life works on it, but we're going to try anyway. Which reminds me, I'm only going to be using him for healing. Bone Missile. So, no effect. This will be. Rex is weak against zombie attack. Yeah, see, that's the thing. We could do that. But you could do this in any kind of combination. It won't really defeat the boss completely. It just kind of cheapens it in this fact of that it only lowers it by so much. But then again, so what? I mean, it's not like it completely defeats him in one shot. It would be really, really more cheapeningly if we actually did it that way. But, you know, we could continue it on this way. Or, more precisely, we could just use this. And by the way, yes, most enemies have this attack. Not all. Already, so that's a bit of a thing. And no, I'm not going to use his attacks. He is kind of weak to that, but he's not specifically weak to it. So, you know, you could also do it to kind of mix it up if you want to. I think I will go ahead and mix it up, because I'm going to be doing it anyway. Of course, he has poison. I forgot he can do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it don't mean much. I'm not doing it to cheapen the fight. I'm just kind of mixing it up. Now, you're going to see something like I said before that can work. He needs to fully heal himself up anyway. Yep. He had to do that. Now we're going to use our regular weapons, and I'm going to have him heal me. Of course, I'm going to get hit. So that's a good thing about that as well. That if your character, the main one, dies, I'm going to say it like that because it's true, like the other crap anyway. It can be revived. I have lost this fight. It's an easy enough fight to lose. It just makes no sense, but you can still it can be done. So I'm going to go ahead and attack him with a sword. There's also something that's going to be coming into more of a play a little bit later here. Whoa, chew up, huh? That was, useless. But especially, there's supposed to be some kind of weapons he particularly counters attack to you. Anyway, so, no, I just need to get water. I will do that here in a little bit. Okay. So, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this. I've also healed up bosses. You can do that. But you can't heal up this guy. You know why? Because it gives you a little bit more of a vantage point. I never really thought about it, but it does whenever I've done it. This guy's almost done. And again, I'm not going to borrow with that hocus pocus crap about saying how much HP unless I can actually scan this person. I cannot. And the monsters, bosses, or anything like that, I'm not going to bother with it, okay? It just, me, it's more like, yeah, I don't buy into it. I don't care. I don't want to know if I can't scan it physically within the game. That's just where it is for me. If you want to know, that's fine with me. Now we're going to finish this guy off. Yep. And all it really does is just cut his HP a little bit in half. That's all it really does. Doesn't really kill this guy. I'd be really worried if it did. Okay, just one more time. He should be dead. Yep, dead. We defeated the enemy. We got crap XP for it. Well, not too crap, but crap enough. Now, you might have just heard of something there. So every time you defeat a boss, I'm going to show you something. Even though it may not make any difference now, which means you could save on seeds this way, it's a better idea this way. It doesn't really matter. You still have to use them, depending on how tough the enemy is. But anyway, look, La Cresta. Am on that? Get a load of this stuff. Okay. I'll keep this. Oh, here's what you wanted. Receive the elixir. Now, what we want to do is we want to do this. Yep. Cure potions. Watch this little handy trick. Oh, got some explosives. Now, you remember what I said about chests and stuff like that, where you would normally have to replace ammo for your secondary characters? I probably didn't say that specifically, but there you go. Found sand coin. Now, what he's got, we'll go more about it later. We're not worried about it. Look, I've got to go. See you around, kid. Your name's Killard. That's how you say it. Oh, by the way, you could, destroy these. There's only one way to do it. It's pretty silly and it's a waste of bombs, but you could do it. Anyway, so let's do it then. Let's get the hell out of Dodge. So yeah, you still have to defeat enemies. That's for sure if you want to get through here. But there are enemies you can skip, like the one that was over here. I could have skipped him, no matter what, whether it was before or afterwards. And by the way, we don't have to defeat that guy, so that's a good thing. He won't respawn. Now we could have go back around this way, or we can go this way. It doesn't really matter because we don't have any enemies to worry about. But it just makes it go quicker. Speaking of that, you remember how I showed you the first floor? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, and since we actually had to come back in and come back out, well, what you would normally get here for Ninja Stars or whatever, yeah, okay, check this out. Now, if it doesn't say what I think it's going to say, it's a glitch in the system. There you go. Found explosives. That's what you're supposed to find if you don't have a secondary partner that carries ammo. More about that later. So, anyway, um, or rather, well, I'll tell you about it more later. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we could go ahead. Okay, maybe I didn't get that's right. I already got that. So now we should be able to get some more of those, because otherwise you would have this. It doesn't really matter at this point, and I'm going to show you why when we get to that point. But for now, take a look at this. Explosives. Yeah, it's the only time you'll be able to see this because, I mean, unless you go through it again, you'd have to go through what I had to. You don't have to actually go through all the enemies, but you still have to fight some just to get anywhere. As a matter of fact, the first room you can actually completely bypass and not fight anything at all. But, however, the item chests, you'll have to fight the enemies for that. Because they're guarding it, keeping you from being resupplied. Like the boss was afraid of that. This one here, that wasn't protected so well because, well, you have to get to the door. They kind of made it easier than that way. But this right here, oh yeah, you might as well take advantage of it while you can. You don't, I wouldn't recommend ever bombing those skulls, but And well, bada bing, bada boom. We are at 99. What you don't want to have is 99. There we go. Now, more on that a little bit later. I wasn't planning on getting 99 at this point, but it doesn't really matter. You don't want to have 99 max items. I found that out the hard way. Now, again, look at this. You can't go anywhere. It won't let you go anywhere past there. But then there's an arrow that's grayed out. Well, we're going to say that for another episode because there's also something else over there that you might have saw. Okay. We also have to recheck the town, so that'll be in another episode. Matter of fact, no, we'll do it now since we have time. Actually, no, we won't. We'll save it right here. And in the next episode, we will be exploring the town before we go and do what we got to do to progress. There's actually two things you got to progress. That we do to the progress. So, and that number one thing you actually have to do, you could go back into the dungeon, but yeah, you don't want to do that, especially at this point. And that's to get this, the sand coin. You can skip out a lot of enemies, but still, because you have to fight them by yourself, not always a good idea. Well, you might be able to handle it mostly, some of them, but there's just quite a few of them that you don't want to fight by yourself. Just not until a little bit later, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Anyway, so you might as well take a look at what we have for this. For most of the time, armor's levels can absolutely have a big difference in how much more it can be, but not always. And it still never outdoes the second character who originally had that weapon. Never does. So like this is at 63. I don't know if you can get it any higher than that. I'm sure that probably could the more you work at it, but whatever. More about that later because yeah, you want to talk about being forced. I mean, look at that. Some of this stuff will change, like the magic accuracy and evasion will go up, but it won't go up significantly to make a difference until you get specific things. So more on that later. So yeah, I mean, elemental defense, special defense, huh? I never really noticed that those were there. But apparently, I will be going over the icons later. You can't really tell what hardly most of them are, but I can pretty much tell you what they are. But that'll be later. Until then, see ya.